Okay, so now it's live. It's on. So Lister
Holy shit,
Podcast is
we made
on. I'm just saying. I got the co-host is here. The co-host is here. This is my co-host, and Steve is
Oh,
here. No, you're not the
hey,
co-host. You're the
I'm not a
guest.
co. Oh, okay.
The
I don't
co-host
know
is
how these things work. I don't do podcasts.
the co-host is 1800, and then you're the
Oh,
guest.
that's a fantastic gentleman right there.
Uh-huh. He always contributing to the podcast.
Contributing to bad decisions.
Hey. But anyway, I don't introduce my guests because I don't know what people want people to know about them. So you can go ahead and tell the people about your own self.
All right. Oh shit. That's a big open-ended question. So I'm Steve Bird, as you can see on the screen there. I met Tyrone. Jesus, what has it been like? 15 years ago? 16
Yeah,
years? Round about that.
yeah.
It's been a minute. I'm born and raised South Jersey, down in like Warren State Forest, Pine Barren area. A little bit out of high school, got into a little bit of trouble, had to get out of that state. Met who is now my wife on a blind date in Philadelphia. A few years later, we get married. Next thing I know, I moved to Pennsylvania, move a little more west into Pennsylvania, and here I sit now, and work work brother of Tyrone's for the past decade
Now
and a
I
half.
got now I got a podcast. What I guess you want to call it series now because
Mm-hmm.
I did that dangerous dummies thing about power driving, and
Okay.
I always put a disclaimer on there because people get fucked up. You know what I mean? So I put a
Damn right.
disclaimer. So I put a disclaimer on there to say like these are stories about people almost getting fucked up, but not quite getting fucked up, right? And now
Mm-hmm.
I done got so many stories now that it's like it's 4 episodes in, and now I'm trying to do episode 5. So I'm gonna need guys because I'm running
Okay.
out. My stories have gotten less dangerous and less dumb as I've progressed throughout my career,
Mm-hmm. Oh
and
yeah. Well, hopefully so.
and started working with more competent, you might say, like
Okay.
more,
Yeah, you start learning better practices instead of doing wild
yeah.
shit.
And now I'm at the point where because I'm foreman and because I've been in long enough, I kind of
Mhm.
like get to choose my gang, and
Oh,
so
okay.
now I've
And you ain't
eliminated.
called me out once. Oh, you son of a
No,
bitch.
it ain't like I mean, it's just a
I'm,
hazmat gang. You
I'm
know,
playing
we
with
got
you.
yeah,
Okay.
you kind of got your crew, you know, your boys or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Usual suspects that you work with all the time.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of running out of stories, so I'm trying to get
Mm.
some guys in the local together to say, hey, you guys can tell some of this shit too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Long as nobody got really hurt. I don't want to tell the
I
stories
mean,
where somebody like broke their leg because that's kind of
yeah, that
or should
happens.
we tell it? I mean, I
No.
kept names out. I try to keep names out of the story because I don't want nobody to be like embarrassed by the stupidity of their actions.
I got
So
a good one for you. Do you want it now, or you want to save it? Like I could put together a couple stories if you want to do
oh,
that. Another
I told your story. Definitely. It's on Dangerous
which one?
Dummies.
Oh.
I told about a certain person. I told
What did
about a
I
certain
do?
person's eye. Well, I did tell about a
Oh,
certain person's eye on that one occasion.
ow. That was not a work related injury. I mean, a
I
little bit it was,
understand.
but
It still was a it still was a
yeah.
good story. So I
No, that
told it.
was
Hey, I didn't keep no names in. You won't the police won't knock on your door or nothing.
no, that was a self sanctioned altercation. I didn't want no parts of that smoke, but things
so
happen.
I was just bringing this up for future reference because
Mhm.
I want to do another episode, but I want some other guys in the local to participate, you know, because it's like
Excellent. Yeah,
there's so many
just
stories out there.
let me
But
know a little bit in advance so I can try to like gather thoughts and put pen to paper so it's not just sitting there like
but
actually have it kind of thought out a little bit. But yeah.
and here's the concept. The concept is not um stories, you know, just basic general stories where somebody got hurt. My
Yeah.
concept is I tell stories of stupidity. That's why it's called Dangerous Dummies because it's like
Mm-hmm.
I want the stories of the dumb shit. I don't want a story where, you know, operator error and somebody got
Yeah,
hurt. I
like,
want
all
the
right,
stories where,
that'll
you know,
happen.
somebody was a fucking idiot you know, you know, we got those. You know what I mean? So my
True
stories
that. Yeah.
are always because I kind of keep a little bit of a like a comedic type thing going
A
on.
little lighter
Yeah,
entertainment style, not so
yeah,
serious.
not so serious, man. Because I love that. I love
Mhm.
when I love when I go to work and we have fun. You know,
Huh.
we laugh
Otherwise,
and we
it's
joke.
work.
Yeah, and
Fucking
we
work.
laugh and we joke.
Work's tough enough, but serious, it sucks.
You know, so I love to go to work and have fun. I know
Mhm.
they go all this, and I don't understand this. So a lot of the superintendents always are like, "Oh, you guys are fucking around and there's too much horseplay going on," and I'm just like, is work getting done? You know what I mean? I don't understand the whole concept of they act like they want us to be fucking robots or something.
I I got a slight theory on it. So no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough because if you can get XYZ done, people in that position are always going to go, why can't they get that next little bit? That next little, they were able to get all that. I don't know if they're pushing 1,000%. And then if they see any trying to keep spirits up and the little joking around things that helps kind of keep the camaraderie going, it's only that moment that they see. And if they see that, then they think, oh, that's all them guys are doing. And they're dicking the dog. And even though you only see a snapshot, you don't see and register when everyone's busting their fucking arms the whole time. So, some ways, I think it's just that greediness of, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more.
Yeah, I was yeah, it's just that's why I said that's why I'll be telling everybody that I'm the best foreman in the local because
Mhm.
I have the intangibles that other people don't have. Like I
Yeah.
understand that morale is an important part of
If
the
morale goes out the window, production goes out
situation.
the fucking window. Everyone hates
Yeah,
being there. No one's going to be mentally there involved in it. So.
and I just gotta we gotta find that balance. I applied for to be superintendent with Sevenson. I applied for a
Mhm.
superintendent job. I mean, because I've been on the remediation jobs for like 16
Yeah.
years, like
Yeah, I'm going
throughout
to say,
my
you've been
entire
doing
career.
hazmat fucking work for like ever.
And so they got this place, they got this hazmat job down in Deepwater, right? And I've been on that job like 6 times at the Chemours DuPont facility or whatever. And they're trying to get a superintendent down there to handle the power driver part. And I keep telling them, like, I've been foreman on that job like 6 times. So it's like, what is the superintendent requirements that I don't have already for that job? I know the layout, I know how it goes. I've been the foreman on there. So I don't get, you know,
I was told someone once by a superintendent that got said to me. He's like, listen, man, you're way too much one of the guys.
you
And
what?
that's all he said. You're way too much one of the guys, which it might be the same thing. You might be catching the same kind of opinion. So I've always tried to be like, yo, it's union first because that's what got me where I am right now. It's never a company, though I understand you work your ass off to do well for the company because it reflects well back to the local. But with that said, if you're in a position of leadership or whatever through the company's eyes, and you're not just going to be a dick to all the guys that are there with you. If somebody's having a bad day, maybe you don't fucking ride their ass so hard, like, no, we got to get XYZ done. Yeah, you're having a bad day. Take it easy, brother. I want you to go over there and just survive. Now, if you approach it that way, you're a little too much for the men. You ain't so much of the company guy that's going to fucking ride the shit out of people, and that's your number one objective. So it might, honestly, I've never seen it, but I would assume it's around those lines. If you show yourself too much one of the men, sometimes they're not so prone to put you into that leadership because they know that they can't lean on you and say, well, if I take this away, and if you ain't scared of that, then they don't want to give it to
Ain't but ain't that the same thing as the foreman? You know what I'm saying?
you. Yeah. Oh,
The superintendent comes to
absolutely.
me.
In certain aspects, yes, but I believe the hall has more power and position in trying to say who the foreman is. Because if you got a second year guy trying to be a foreman of a whole bunch of old experienced guys, I believe the union will always step in a little bit more. But when it comes down to a superintendent, that's holy company.
Well, my theory is like, my theory with it is like, yeah, I am one of them. I am one of those men, right? So I have a rapport with them.
Yep.
I know what I'm getting with the foreman that I'm bringing in, because I'm bringing him in. I'm making a call to the guy I want. So I know he can handle his crew. I know he can handle what I want to do. I know that me and him are not going to butt heads too much. We have a similar idea of what's going on. Less conflict, less bullshit. I know all the union rules. I'm going to try my best not to break them. He knows all the union rules. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a smoother transition in my head.
You and I recognize it, but sometimes on the outside looking in, it's about power. It's about control.
But it is controlling. I can pick a guy. We got the union rules and everything. Oh, everybody's like union rules, you know what I'm saying? But there's always give and take, And the union to tell you, if you make a deal, that's your deal and that's on you. We're not going to back you up on a deal. We only go by the union rules. If you make a deal, that's on you or whatever. So there's give and take, right?
Absolutely.
So when you got a guy that's a superintendent that wants to take, and we got union brothers that don't want to give, right? There's a difference between it being me and me pulling my union brother to the side and saying, listen, man, they're up my ass. This is going on. Can we work something out? And we don't have to go to the higher ups. The company don't have to know. The union don't have to know. It's between me and you, man to man. We're going to work this out, and we're going to get work done. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I just be like it's a win-win for everybody to have power drivers be superintendents of power driving jobs.
It's also one of those things, same thing like when you saw it, put your name in for it. Throw your hat into the ring and fucking keep throwing your hat into the ring. And then if something kicks up and then you dominate the fucking job, and then those worries and the questions get fucking put to bed.
So I know you've been foreman. How do you handle, because a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to be foreman. I don't want to be foreman. I just was talking to Casey.
I'm one of them guys.
I was like that when I first started. When I first started, I didn't never want to be foreman, right? And the real reason why I didn't want to be foreman wasn't because of all the shit everybody else saying. I didn't want to be foreman because I was a fucking idiot. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you didn't feel comfortable to throw on that hat and feel like, yeah, I belong in this spot. Tell them,
I write books and stuff like that. I consider myself like book smart, but like out there trying to figure out that kind of stuff, trying to solve problems, I was not there for that. I was there Jimmy will tell you, I worked hard for him. I used my back and I kept the morale up. I was the guy that cracked jokes and like if somebody was having a bad day, I'd tease them. You know what I mean? I was like,
play with them and try to make it fun.
Yeah, but I did not. But if you told me that I would ever be foreman, you would have lost your fucking mind on that. Right? But now I've totally flipped, and now I'm talking to the younger kids. I was talking to the girl Casey, and I'm like, "You don't want to be foreman?" She's like, "I never want to be foreman," and I'm like, "Why would you not want to progress?" You know what I mean? It's like a progression now. Like once I got to a certain point in my career, I was like, because I started realizing that I know stuff. You know, when you start realizing that you know stuff.
Yeah, when you feel comfortable, when you sit here and you see everything, you're like, all right, I know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Or like when Jimmy would start doing stuff and I'd be like, hey, Jimmy, remember that one job we did this and it worked? And then it works. And then it's like, hey, I know stuff. You know what I mean? So now I'm like, well,
I learned this trait. When did it happen?
Yeah, like I didn't know that I knew it, but I do know it. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I guess that shit and it works. And then I'm like, oh shit, like I'm that dude.
A lot of the times it is that, because it is like when you got to get put in that position, half your job's just putting out fires. You're like, You know what's got to get done. You direct out some guys, and the rest of the time it's like that. Something goes wrong. All right. Half the time you're making it up on the fly, trying to draw back all those things you did. What worked here? What worked there? All right, let's give this a rip. And then you cross your fingers and hope it goes.
So
But
how do you? Oh, go ahead.
I mean, no, I'm just half rambling. You know, I can
And
just talk for talking sake.
this all this is rambling. Did you listen to my show? That's all
Yeah.
I do. The co-host gets into me and I start going.
As I was thinking.
But so and then it's another thing. Like I had this incident one time. I was the foreman, and I like working with and I like working with Doc. Doc's my man. You know, me and Doc have been friends for a long time. Doc's my man, right? So
But
Doc gets in my game, right?
Yeah,
now
listen. Doc is how to.
Yeah. Now listen though. That's my whole thing too. I tell them people like, oh, you work with Doc? And why would you get Doc in your game? Why would you want that guy? He's antagonizing. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. He's screwed. You know, he pokes the bear. He does all these kind of things. And I go, yeah, I have a relationship with him. I can handle Doc. And I know that one thing I do know about Doc, he may not be the smartest cracker in the box, or however they say that thing. And
he's about as sharp as a marble.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He may not be that guy. He's not a ball of fire. He will fucking nitpick and antagonize and do stuff. But I also know that Doc is one of those guys that still does have my best interests in his heart as a friend. And he's one of those guys that I can pull to the side and say, yo, man, knock it off, please. Like, you know what I mean? And he's one of those guys that he's going to show up every day. He's not going to be late. And he's going to do whatever I tell him to do. So, yeah, I know he gets assholish. I know he pokes the bear. I know he's not too bright. I know all those things. But I put him in position for success. I don't give Doc a job that takes a lot of brain power. I give Doc a job.
Well, that's also simple. Part about being a foreman. It's always play to the strengths of your men. If you know your one guy isn't going to be the most mentally engaged trying to solve a problem, but you have a task over here that it's more about the brawn. Look, this just takes one foot in front of the other and chew it the fuck up. Then that's where you find where to put guys that they're going to do their best work. And on Doc, so I was in apprenticeship with him. So me and him were in the same class, all that jazz. And the one thing I always loved about Doc, and it's for at least for me as a personal aspect, there are people that understand what loyalty is about, understand about self-sacrifice for somebody that you care about, shit like that. So if somebody wants to be an antagonizer and all that jazz, but you know what they are inside of their heart, who they are as a person, that, like you said, all things set aside, he wants to see you succeed. He wants to see you do good. He isn't going to go and do shady shit on the backside trying to fucking kneecap you and make you look bad. He ain't one of them dudes. So it's like, to me, those are the people you want to surround yourself around, because there's no bullshit ulterior motives. Yo, I love you because you are who you are. I got your back because we're union brothers. Like, whatever it is, the metric that they decide to plant that flag of loyalty, and that's a good motherfucker. That's a motherfucker you get behind. And you, like you said, you draw them in, and like, that's why I fucking call them out. That's why I want them around.
And that's what so when I was talking to Casey and I was talking to Destiny, I was like, you know, your guys want to be foreman or whatever the case may be like that. And, you know, I sit there and they go, well, it's about your gang, but I don't care. Like when people tell me, well, no, this is the thing. People say, hey, you gotta have a certain gang, you gotta have certain people there, you gotta have certain situations and all this and all that. And I just I in general don't care. I in general go like, I'm gonna adjust to whoever I get sent. Now that's bit me in the ass. That's bit me in the ass before, but it is what it is. Because I don't want to be that guy that goes like, hey, I'm not gonna give nobody a chance. I'm not gonna be that guy that goes, this is my gang. I don't want this guy. I don't want that guy.
All I take is aces. The rest of them can go fuck themselves.
Well, no, it's not like
your brother too. If he ain't no good teacher.
it's not like that. It's also for me. It's like whatever he did on that other job ain't none of my fucking business. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Whatever he did on that other job, maybe he didn't like you. Okay, he was late over there. Okay, whatever happened on that job, that's y'all business. That's how y'all handle it. You know, when he comes to me, if that behavior continues, then we can address it, and we can address it with the whole union. Because now it's like, hey, this dude's a problem everywhere. You know, but I'm not going to be that guy to be like, I don't want that guy. I heard he was a problem. No, I don't. We'll deal with it when we have it over here.
Well, that's good sense anyway, because everything's always about perspective. So it's like, yeah, you had a bad interaction at X job, and you hear these stories chirping at you. No. You are who you show me you are. You're when you're standing in front of me, and how you decide to act and what you do and how hard you work and how committed you are to whatever. Like, you show me who you are. Whoever said whatever, that's their stories. That's their perspective. And every perspective is only like what you see, which is only part of it. You don't know the whole picture. So it's like, I don't know. One of those things. That's.
So what made you get to your foreman? You just got thrown it, or you went for it? Because I didn't get thrown mine. So I went for it.
I was offered a few times. Like when Jerry Cosgrove was wrapping up, when he was getting close to the end of his career, I'm working in his crew down at the Paulsboro.
Yeah.
What the fuck was it? It was that shipping or the receiving dock piers that we put in. Anyway, which way, he's fixing a wrap up, and he's in my ear trying to yo Bert, take the group. And I told him straight up, I was like, listen, man, if the union says, yo Bert, take this, I'll take it. But as I stand here, I don't want it, which I have my own reasons for all that. So it was like, it always turned into one of those. And then it got to the point where I got to a certain amount of years in, and it was like, it basically turned into that. So then begrudgingly, it's like, yo, somebody got to step up. I don't want it, but I'm the guy that's got the most time in somebody's crew. So it's like, all right. So naturally, give me the fucking hat. I'll do it. But it was always one of those, I have a hard time separating. Like, if I do something, I commit fully into whatever I choose to do. So it's like, if I go do a foreman gig, I'm driving home thinking about work. I get home, I get in the shower thinking about work. I'm going to bed, I'm thinking about the next day, who's doing what, I'm plotting, like, just, I could never turn it off. So I knew that about myself. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that. So, but that's basically where I sit. So it was like, it was kind of forced on me.
You're an insane individual. As soon as listen, if I step 1 foot off that job site, everything disappears. Like, it just goes away. I can't take that shit home, man.
Well, it's also part of the thing. Like, I like a very regimented. Like, if I have a work schedule, I don't like it when those work schedules fucking change. I get in a groove, I find my rhythm, and I fucking attack it. So a lot of times too, it's like, with that about myself, and you've seen, I have a temper sometimes, like my temper can get the fuck out of hand. All these things, when I get all these curveballs thrown at me, I start to agitate the fuck up. And then I know I'm not a peach to fucking deal with. So it's like, it's also one of those, I don't want to be the asshole coming into work. So it's like, if I got to wear this hat, I know, one, I have to be an asshole sometimes, because some people need boot and ass. And then I just get aggravated. Like, I had this solid plan. We were going to fucking coast through the day, and you fucked it all up. Next thing I know, I'm cursing all fucking superintendents, and that never goes good.
Yeah, so I kind of like, I forced my hand. And I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna act like, yeah. Now people know me. I'm not racist. I got white friends. I got a white brother. Yeah. I'm not. But for me, people can't. We can't sit up here and ignore the fact that racism kind of plays a part in the situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting here and I'm going. I'm seeing all these girls. It's just not racism, but it's like, I see these girls coming in. I see we got more black people in the local than we've ever had, before. And so it's like, I I wanted to be a foreman at that point to because I'm like, I'm gonna set an example.
You
know?
can go. Everything is possible in this fucking spot.
And
don't believe the shit you've been told. Come in here, work hard, and you're gonna succeed.
And then it's
And that's
just
the way
like,
it should be.
and it's so crazy because I'm like you, I don't have the best reputation. I'm one of those, I can get hot-headed too, and I can be an asshole, and I've been one of those guys that plays too much and goes too far with some of the jokes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm not what they would like to call foreman material. You know?
Well, it's because of the Levetti, like that, but trying to bring any of us that try to ever bring lightness to a job, but it's taken as non-seriousness.
But I forced my way into it because I was working for 7, and it was, and you know what? That's the thing. So people talk about Jimmy, and I go like, and I tell everybody Jimmy was my mentor, and people go, "You're proud of that,
right?
Huh?
Talking about Boyle?
No, not Jimmy Boyle. Somebody's mentor.
Conway.
Hold on. I'm not going to badmouth nobody.
There's all sorts of Jimmys in this local, brother.
Who could Jimmy Boyle mentor? Like
he's a drilling motherfucker. that motherfucker knows drilling. Don't get it mixed up.
You know, yeah.
He can take a sweet picture, but he can drill like a motherfucker too.
Man, I don't know. But Jimmy Conway was my mentor, right? And I tell people that, and I proudly tell people that, and they always act like give me attitude, but he did. He went to Sevenson. He worked for Sevenson all those years. I was under his wing. And me and him got in fights, we got in arguments, we got in everything. Everything happened between me and him. But he put me in this position. And you know why he put me in this position? Because I literally went to Sevenson's superintendents, and I went to Sevenson's head, and I said, and when it was time for me to try to be foreman, they were like, how can we don't know if we can count on you. We don't know if we can put you in that position. And I said, y'all had Jimmy here. I've done everything that Jimmy has done. I've worked with Jimmy this whole time. Everything that Jimmy's done for you guys, I've been a part of. Every single thing.
Arm in arm with it.
Yep. I know all of it. And they were just like, okay, we'll give you a shot. And then Jimmy, and the funny thing is this, Jimmy already knows I've told this story, so I'm not embarrassing him. I'm not being disrespectful to him or nothing, because he knows I tell this story all the time. Jimmy went to the Sevenson superintendents, and he talked to them about me being foreman. And this is what happened. Jimmy goes, when Jimmy got that Burlington County thing, he was like, Tyrone, you're my guy. And I go, Jimmy, I'm not your guy no more, because I want to be foreman. Yeah. And if I stay with you, I'm not going to be foreman, because you're foreman. And I don't want that conflict of interest between us. And you're not going to give it to me. It would have been nice if Jimmy would have said, hey, Tyrone, you take the reins on this one. It would have been nice. Huh?
See, that's a problem I got with a lot of these fucking guys. And Jimmy, listen to this podcast, and the rest of you. Stop being greedy fucking pigs and share a little bit. We all got bills to pay. You have any idea how many times I took a layoff just because somebody had a kid and I don't? Sacrifice for your fellow members.
I would say that, but I'm not. It's not
it's not automatic. There's certain motherfuckers that will not wouldn't piss on you to put you out if you're on fire. Don't say same thing as a guy when he shows up on the job. They show you what you are or what they are, and you treat them accordingly.
I'm not
good brothers.
But here's the thing: I'm not painting Jimmy in a bad light, because Jimmy's been very good to me, and Jimmy's a good guy. But
no, I'm talking about all around.
But at the same time, but at the same time, there were times when I was just like, damn, Jimmy, we got a small little sheeting job here. Can you throw me a bone on this one? And it's all in fun and play around.
It helps though, because that right there, like a little sheeting job, to me, that's the perfect time, because now it gets you a chance. I was the foreman on this project, and when you always want a strong number two, because you got to have someone you can trust and fucking soundboard it. What better than inverting what you guys already had? So, even Jimmy's normally the fucking foreman. Yeah. This job's all you. even if I see what needs to go on, you make the calls. If it feels like you're going to go sideways, I'm going to let you take the first step and then say, yo, I think this is going to happen. Why don't we try it? Like, to me, that's how we grow as a local. And to me, that's nothing but a missed opportunity. Not saying anyone's wrong or bad in the moment, but it's one of those, we got to pick our moments when we can get better as a whole. Stop looking from your own perspective. Step back and look that 1,000-yard view. Try make us all. The more of us that are stronger and better, the better we are as a whole.
Yeah, and I just so when it got to the point, it was all tongue in cheek all the ways. It was always kind of tongue in cheek. Jimmy, why don't you throw me this one? But when it got to the point where I really wanted it, I just simply told Jimmy, I can't go with you. You know, I gotta try. I gotta be on my own now, and I'm ready. You know.
Well, that's a smart choice, because there's guys can also find themselves falling into, like, it's all about wearing hats. And if you get stuck in with wearing the hat of being the number two, that solid number two guy. Personally, I kind of like that position. I kind of aim for that. But if that's all you go, and if you want to try to advance and do more things for all certain things, then yeah, you don't want to put yours, and that's where you made the right choice. Like, look, man, if I sit here, I'm gonna get stuck in this number two rut. I need to spread my wings.
Yeah,
the
right.
needs to fly.
And that's what I did. And but then when Jimmy talked to the 7 Cent people, when he talked to Billy about it, he goes, oh, there are concerns about too much horseplay. And I was mad at first, because I'm like, Jimmy, I've worked with you for all these years. No matter how much I play, no matter what shit I do, you know the job gets done. So the horseplay is not. I've never hurt anyone. I've never really gotten myself hurt. Like, we have a good safety. Me and you work for 7 Cent all these years. We have an excellent safety record. We have an excellent. They like us. They keep bringing us back. When they can hire anybody, we're their guys. You know what I mean? They like us. We have a rapport with them. We've been working for them for years and years and years, right? So the work gets done. They like us. We're safe. And that's including all of my shit. So, where do you think now that all of a sudden, because I'm forming that, it's just going to go fucking bad? Like, where do you think that? So I'm just like, Jimmy just wanted. I said, you just wanted something to say, bro. I don't know. Losing a number 2 hurts your feelings, I guess. You know.
There is one thing now it was almost like a perspective that I found. So before I ever got my first foreman job, I had always tried to be just one of the guys in the crew. Like, I want to get work done, but I want to have fun. If we can joke, we joke, all that. So then it's like my first foreman, but there's also a heavy amount of familiarity between you and the guys that you're doing that with. So sometimes some guys have a hard time maintaining a level of respect to understand of where you are positioned, like the hat you have to wear, and you got to. It's one of those respect the rank, not the man kind of things. Whereas if you're too jokey, too familiar with someone, and then you take on that mantle of that position. Sometimes that people that you're too familiar with can't differ. They're still feeling like it's when you were just bullshitting and doing jokes and yada yada, and not recognizing when you ask that thing. Sometimes, like, all right, I understand why, like, what you're asking me, and yeah, no problem, go knock it out. Instead of sometimes guys will give you a hard time, because as opposed to when you had them serious ass foremen that said, yo, go take care of this, and you're like.
And but I'll deal with that, because I'm not going to say names, but I had a situation where this guy I was working with, I've been to his house, like I considered him a friend of mine, and we got into a little conflict on the job. And I said, listen, work aside. I pulled him to the side and I said, work aside. As my friend, I need you to do this. I need you to be a little better. I need you to get your shit together today. And it's like, if I say as my friend and you fucking don't do it, we're not friends no more.
Well,
now it's like,
yeah, that's
Because
That's
seriously,
tipping
you
the
also
fucking mask. Yeah.
well, no,
Sorry.
because you have to think about that when
Mhm.
somebody's in that position and they're
Yeah.
just starting out in that position, right? They they're making it. It's all about reputation here.
Yeah.
So I'm making a name for myself, and so if
Mhm.
I'm making a name for myself, hold on, if I'm making a name for myself, right? I can't. I know we're going to have some problems, but I can't fuck up. I got to
Mhm.
keep this, I got to keep problems to a
Gotta keep
minimum
it
here.
tight. Yeah.
And if you're fucking up, it's all fun and games. But as my friend, if I can say, hey man, listen, this is something you need to tighten up on as my friend,
Mhm.
not
Yes.
work wise, but as my friend, I'm saying to you, I'm trying to make a name for myself. You're my friend here. You're here because you're my friend.
Yeah.
Can you tighten that up a little bit?
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
get
Don't take
attitude
advantage.
if I get attitude after that, I'm like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, because that always feels like the thing is, okay, you take on the position as foreman, you got to keep things tight because if the guys ain't performing and acting right, that reflects bad on you. That ain't whatever wild shit I'm doing doesn't make me just look like an asshole. It makes the guy that's supposed to be in charge of me look like he's not in charge, that he's not in control of his men, that he's not in control of the work, that he's not in control of the project. So that's when there's like, especially when you know someone, that's when this has nothing to do with work. This is, yo, we're supposed to be buddies, man, and you're making me look bad.
yeah,
Like
right.
if you want to take the sugar coat off it, you're making me look like an asshole because you just can't rein it the fuck in a little bit. Just for now, help me the fuck out. Let's make at least even just put on the illusion like we're serious business out here, and then we joke in the fucking shadows or some shit. But yeah,
And the other thing that I feel like that helped me make a good transition was that I was always that guy anyway. I didn't realize that I was always that foreman type guy, but I was always that guy because I realized that starting to be out in the gang with me and Jimmy, and like we started getting apprentices like Logan and some other apprentices started coming along, and I would always take them to the side and I'll always be like, "Look, Jimmy's the foreman. Jimmy don't like this. Jimmy don't like this. Don't do that." And then like sometimes if they get in arguments with Jimmy, I'll pull them to the side and I'll go, look. I know you see me fight with Jimmy, but you better throw it. You cut it out. Cut it out. You know what I mean? And so I always was that guy. So now I feel like once I became foreman, it's like I'm still having the same conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. I'm still telling you the same shit that I told you when I wasn't foreman. So why all of a sudden now? I had guys tell me, "Oh, the foreman's going to your head." Like how, bro? I cussed you the fuck out when I wasn't foreman. Like I'm talking to you the same way. So are you jealous? Are you mad? Or what is your problem here?
I think it's that inherent thing where does anybody really like getting told what to do?
No, but
I mean, we'll do it because we know maybe it's what needs to be done. It's the right thing to do. But I don't think anyone really likes to be directed, especially as an adult, and you have someone telling you what to do, and it's almost like takes you back to being a kid and your parents telling you shit. And now it's not my parent telling me, it's who I always viewed as my sibling. But now they're trying to tell me, like my parent, trying to tell me what to do. As far away from the truth of what it is, as like philosophical as that is, I think it usually plays in with that. So it's like my buddy, my friend is now acting like my boss. My brother, my sister is now acting like my parent. But you have to because that's the position you're in, because this is still work. This is career. This is, we got shit we got to do. They ain't paying us this kind of money to be out here fucking bullshitting all the time. But
that's the bullshit cop out for me. That's the bullshit cop out for me because my thing is this: when I'm foreman, I'm not that foreman that goes, "Hey, do this, do this, do that." I'm the foreman that goes, "Hey, listen, we got to put sheeting jobs are so simple. We got to put sheets in the ground. Simple fact of the matter is, you're the lowest apprentice on the totem pole. So the hoses are yours. I don't have to talk about it. We don't have to discuss it. Every time that hammer goes up, Them hoses
Mhm.
belong to you. Okay.
Yeah.
You're the guy, you've been in for a while, you have your welding certs. The welding is yours. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? This guy's good with the torch, the burning is yours. You know what I mean? Like, it's yours. So there's never a time where I'm just like, yo, go do this, go do that. Like, it's not demanded. We're coming out as a team. Everybody has their job.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So during the course of a flow, it's like there should never be an issue where I'm bossing you around because I don't boss people around. I'll simply say the hammer's up. Why aren't you on the hoses? You got to take that. If it's your
Mhm.
job and the hammer's up and you're not on the hoses, you got to take that.
Well, it's because we're all one unit. It's a team effort. It's like none of us can do it on our own, and everyone needs to know what part of that unit you're supposed to. And that's the general manager. You go, yo, hoses up. That's you saying a lot more in that the hose is up than just the obvious.
And sometimes I just go. Sometimes I'll be on jobs and we'll be doing sheet jobs, and it's like we got to hook a sheet up, and people are looking around. I don't give a fuck who hooks the sheet up.
Yeah.
I don't care. Somebody needs to, one of you go hook it up. You know what I mean? It's like,
Initiative.
yeah,
Everybody knows a little initiative. Someone just take this.
And it's so fucked up because somebody go, oh, he was hooking the sheet up all morning. And it's just like, okay, maybe he's tired. I don't know what the case may be, but I'm not going to sit here and argue about it. One of you, between the two of you, needs to go hook it up and get it over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're grown men. And sometimes you guys are acting like little bitches, and I can't. That's when I get mad, bro. I do get mad when they start acting real bitchy. Like the bitchy, I can't take, bro. It's just like the whining, the crying, the why I gotta do it shit. That shit is insane.
Yeah, my dad used to. So when I was a little kid, of course, you're the little kid and you're asking all these questions. You want to find out about life. Why this? Why that? Why that? Why that? Because why's a crooked letter? That was a response he used to beat the shit out of me with. Because why's a crooked letter? When he just got tired of my shit. The kids are, why do I gotta do that? Like that's what I've always wanted to hit him with. Because you were told to, just please do it. We'll talk about the why later, but right now, just it's like pulling teeth.
Or sometimes like the simple things that piss me off. It's like if I get a sheet and the lock ain't cut, and it's just like, dude, why you didn't cut the lock? And it's like, I wasn't the one cutting the locks. Yeah, but you hooked the sheet up. You saw that the lock wasn't cut. Yeah. And because it ain't your job, you didn't do it. Like you're just gonna fuck me over and fuck the job up because somebody else on the game forgot something. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but that kind of circles back to that because it's not my job. We're one unit. Like the guy that's hooking it up, that's part of the thing. It's like before you hook it up, you inspect the entire thing. The guy that's walking by that doesn't even hook it up out of the corner eye, he's looking and inspecting the fucking sheet. It's all of our jobs.
Now,
but there is some of that. It ain't my job. No.
Now, how do you deal with the situation where you're put in a situation? Well, I know how you. I'm not going to put your business out there, but I heard through the through the union. I heard through the union grapevine, which is the fucking. They're like the church ladies and shit.
Yeah, the fucking old maids club.
That you were put in a position where you were foreman and you had a very aggressive number two that wanted you to do things his way, and it wasn't working out. So I mean, how do you handle a situation like that? Because I think that I've been in that situation.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's hard. How hard was that? Because I've been in that situation and it hasn't been as I guess I was able to deal with it, but like that's hard for you, or is that hard? Were you cool with it?
Well, I'm hard-headed enough and stubborn enough that sometimes what somebody wants. Another thing my old man used to say to me that, how does it feel to want? Because you can want all you fucking want. But right as soon as I get put in a position and I got to wear the hat, I know ultimately every decision, every call that it's made falls on my shoulders. So that number two, if they don't like something, whatever the fuck the case is, look, I am always open to suggestions because I know enough about myself. I don't know everything. I'm going to make a stupid fucking decision. But if someone can lead me to the right path, I will gladly run down that. But there also comes the point where you got to make the fucking hard choice. Is it what your gut's telling you or what so-and-so's whispering in your ear? Then you just, for me, it's always a simple, I've been one of those, when I make a decision, it's absolute. I weigh everything out beforehand, before I make that decision. I don't second guess after. So when I make that decision and the person keeps fucking pressing, how do I act when somebody tries to press or get too aggressive with me? I'm going to press right the fuck back. No, you know what? Fuck you. You got a problem with it? What? And then if you want to press, like, escalate, I'm going to let you escalate. You make the choices of what happens. I'm going to try my best to interact with you like a gentleman. I'm going to try my best to be polite and then get a little less as we. So to me, that was always the way. Listen, man, a little bit of me don't want to be here to begin with. I'd rather be a guy that doesn't have to think to this level and take on this kind of responsibility to be able to come in, do my day's pay. But I'm, like I said, strong number 2. You want to give me advice? I'm with it. But if I choose not to go and you don't like it, that's when they need to learn, step the fuck back and let that mother, if you think if they're going to hang themselves, you did what you could do. You gave the advice you thought was sound, and then you give them the rope. If they decide to fucking do themselves in, so be it. You tried your best, but you can't force it. And the same thing, if you're in the position, you can't allow the other person to force you into a certain action. You take their advice as best you can.
In both of my situations, I had 2 different guys. I had a guy that would come to me and say, "Hey, Tyrone, I've been in for a long time. This is the problem. I know if we do this, this, and the other, we can fix it, whatever the case may be." I had a guy like that would come to me and give me suggestions and try to guide me, and we could do it. I also had a guy that would kind of like be aggressive and be like, "Do it like this. You're doing it wrong, blah, blah, blah," and yelling in the bullshit. So how I learned to do it is the guy that came and gave me suggestions, that was fine. We worked it out. Okay, yeah, maybe we will try that. Yeah, listen, hey, you're right. If it don't work, it don't work. Fuck it. We'll go back to the drawing board, But the guy that was like, do this way, it started bothering me. And so the way I handled it was I went to him. I reversed the roles as if he was the foreman, even though I was the foreman, but I would go right to him every time. As soon as the problem occurred, I say, "Hey, this is the problem. What do you think?" Mm-hmm. And then the conversations changed, because now I felt like he felt more respected that I was asking him than for me to just try to make decisions on my own. And so that's how I worked that out, because I was like, I was getting to the point where I was just like, you know what, fuck you, I don't even talk to me. Like, don't even talk to me. I'm just going to do what I do, and you just do what the fuck I say. Don't even talk to me. I don't want to hear your shit. Save your shit for somebody else. That's where I was at first. And then I was like, you know what? That ain't going to work neither.
Your approach is 1,000% better than mine. Yours actually uses tact, a little bit of like forethought, a little bit of psychology, because it's like, if you take away the piss and vinegar out of someone before the piss and vinegar ever starts, and like when you can figure it out, it's as simple as that. Cut them off at the pass. But
now, I don't want to put you out there, but how do you handle like if somebody really like say you had a guy in your gang that really fucked up and something got fucked up bad, and the company is like on your ass about it, right? How do you handle it? Because I had an incident where something got fucked up pretty bad, and it was a big incident, and it was with Sevenson and the Army Corps there, and it went crazy. And so when they started having the meetings and all the big shots started coming out, I simply told my entire gang, go in the box.
Yeah, like, hold on. I think I already know where you're going, because we came up at the same time. And I think a lot of things we kind of have close to the same kind of like vision on things. So I've always been taught if you're going to take the lead, then you take it all. You take the successes along with the failures. So it's like if somebody fucks something up, and if you're in charge, like if I'm in charge, why did I allow them to fucking do that?
Yeah,
Why didn't I fucking hit them up? It goes back to setting someone up for success. But there's nothing's just black and white. There's caveats, and each person's an individual. So if you have somebody that's constantly doing the same fucking thing, and if you've corrected them multiple times, and if this catastrophic thing is like that, no, that motherfucker got to eat that. Because I can lead you to water so many times, show you the right way. If you want to just totally disregard everything you've been shown and seen and just keep fucking doing that, and then if finally something bad happens, then you own that. But if it's a simple mistake, and if it's something that as the foreman, maybe you, like whatever the case, even if it's something that you just didn't see and they fucked up, you eat that. You try your best to always take that on your shoulders and not allow, oh, that was so-and-so.
So I told my entire gang to go into the trailer and wait until we sort this out, because I didn't want them talking. Because people get to talking too much. And I didn't want them to say something to the superintendent that we ain't supposed to. There's certain things we ain't supposed to tell them. You know what I mean?
And that's also protocol and etiquette with the people in the fucking crew. Like when shit like that happens, if you're a member in the crew and the superintendent comes up, starts asking questions, an inspector starts asking questions, direct them to the foreman. I really don't have an answer for you. Like, you should probably go speak to the foreman on that.
Yeah, right. But I know I had a crew that.
Yeah. Well, that was a smart move. Everybody in, same thing. If anyone, even if like you as the foreman, you're speaking to the superintendent, and if it's something outside of that, just general work shit, if it's something like an accident, right? The steward should always be there too, as a second witness to so then it can't be a he said, she said bullshit. Right. That same thing, like you keep the men away, nobody makes statements. It's the foreman and the steward are the two representatives from the local.
Yeah, I get that. But I just, I was berserk. Oh, yeah. I was just like, everybody get away, we'll handle it. And my whole concept of when the superintendents and all the people were talking to us and everybody was having these meetings, my whole concept was, listen, we made a decision, we executed the decision to the best of our abilities. Everyone, the gang and the superintendent and myself as foreman agreed on the decision that we made as a team, and it got fucked up.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Didn't go the way we predicted.
And that's just it. That's just it. And I can take it. And the superintendent was cool too. He said, yeah, Tyrone discussed it with me. I thought it was a good idea. We went with it. And everything was cool. And then I could bring my guys back out.
Well, that was also right by you. See, catastrophic event happens. There's a lot that goes into that. What did you do beforehand? And what you just said is the right thing. You go over what you plan on doing with the crew. That gives everyone a chance to hear it. And if someone goes, wait a minute, that ain't right, that's when you speak the fuck up. And then you massage it till, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. This is what we're going to do. And the whole crew goes. So with that, those are times when you make sure you're trying to do it the safest way. That's when you need that 1,000-foot view to remove yourself. People say, hey, you adjust a plan and everyone agrees it's good, shit goes wrong. You've tried all you could to do it the best you could in the safest way.
I told, and in that situation we had, I said to the superintendent, I don't like it. I said, it seems like it's kind of fucked up. And he said, well, can we try it? And I said, that's your call. You want to try it, we'll try it. But I also told my whole gang, fuck away from it. We're going to try it, but get away from it, because I don't know if this is going to turn out right. And it didn't. But the good thing was, no one was near it. There was no chance of anyone getting hurt. And at the end of the day, we didn't even lose any materials or nothing. We just lost the time it took to fucking... The beam fell in the water. We lost the time that it took to just fish the beam out of the water.
Snatch it back out.
And it was nothing. Nobody got hurt. Everybody was out the way because it was sketchy. And
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the laying up a sheet or a pile up against the barge without lashing it down and then try to go over and
No.
get it?
We had a no. We did something crazy. So we had we welded like a chair to a sheet, and we
Okay.
put the beam on that chair.
Okay.
And then we put a pin pile on it. And what we were doing was we would put the hammer on the pin pile instead of laying the hammer all the way down per sheet. We would just lock the hammer on the pin pile, take it off the pin pile, and disconnect. Well, what happened was the ground in the water started kind of like getting softer.
It starts to liquefy when you start hitting all those sheets.
Yeah. So the pin pile started going down with the hammer on it. Wow. You know what I mean? So when we set the hammer on for the break, the pin pile would go down some, and it started pulling.
It was going straight down.
Yeah, it just started sinking a little, and it started going sideways. So it started pulling the sheet. So my idea was to cut the pin pile loose, reset it, weld it back up, and then not put the hammer on it no more. Just like that, because the weight of the hammer is gonna take it down. But the superintendent, because the sheet went out of whack a little bit, was like, let's put the hammer on the pin pile and try to pull it back up and straighten it out with the hammer. And I said,
straighten up the sheets? They got pulled.
No,
by that thing.
Pick the pin pile up and straighten the beam back out. Yeah, kind of like try that with the hammer. And I was like, that's a lot. I don't want to do it. But he says, so we clamped the hammer on and we tried to do it without turning the hammer on. Just like clamping it and using the rig, the crane to try to pull it without the hammer. It wasn't working. And he goes, turn it on a little bit. And I'm like,
and there's no even hammer.
And I'm like, no, let's not turn it on a little bit. Let's not do that. And he's like, no, I think it'll work. So I went to my crew and I said, listen, this is what this man wants to do. Get away from it. Just get away from it. And so he turned the hammer on and everything. All the welds broke and the fucking beam went off the chairs and into the water, and it was just a mess.
Yeah, about that time, everything's like spring loaded, got fucking energy in it. It breaks loose.
I told him, I said, this is not a good idea. But he's the superintendent. He said, let's give it a shot. Turn it on, let's try it. Hit it lightly. And it went to shit like immediately.
That was also the other thing, that whenever I was in a position of like foreman or whatever, you're always dealing with these superintendents that sometimes they don't even know what the fuck they've never been on a pile driving, like that kind of thing. And they're always pressing and making suggestions. And in the very beginning, I've always been like, you know what? You can tell the guys that are a little more, they want to be directing it. So it's always the same thing. Like the one number two that was aggressive. What would you like to do? You take their suggestions, and if it sounds like it isn't totally wild, absolutely no problem. Because if you're happy and as long as I'm getting shit done, I'm going to go about it. But I'm waiting for when they start making them stupid fucking things that they always do. And then you tell them like, we could do that, but I think this is going to happen. And almost 9 times out of 10, they're always like, no. Go, okay. And then you cross your fingers and hopefully exactly what as long as you know it's not going to be something stupid catastrophic. But you let a couple of those, you made the call and some stupid happened that I told you was going to, like, this was going to happen. And then they learn. And then usually they lay the fuck back too. And let you, then after a couple of days, like, yeah, that was one of those things, like sometimes superintendents can be that. Like you got to figure out how to kind of psychologically work them. Otherwise,
one time we were using a sheet. We used the sheet as the straight edge. Instead of a beam, we used the sheet, right? And I said, the sheet has some folds in it. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to use the sheet. And they were just like, no, the sheets are going in easy. We're just using it to keep our straight edge, right? And then the sheet started pushing the sheet out, and the foreman goes, "Hey, Tyrone, weld that up." And I said, I don't want to weld that sheet as the straightest to these sheets because that sheet's not going to hold them. Like, it's not pinned in. It's just a sheet on the ground.
Just some laying and just weld something over on this end.
Yeah. So we did that, and the sheet literally just curled up. So then we pin piled the sheet, right? And I said, well, that's okay. But then we had to burn stuff. So a fire happens underneath that sheet. We can't get to it because it's underneath the sheet. You know what I mean? Like, so we had to weld the sheet out to pull the sheet up so that we can get to the fire because it's raging under there and we can't reach it. And nobody can't crawl. You know, you can't crawl under there because it's smoke. You can't. So it was just like, I didn't think this was going to work at all. And it's just presented so many fucking problems. But, you know, the superintendent, I mean, I knew no one was going to get hurt. So it was like, okay, well.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those, it's like, as long as you know no one's going to get hurt, you're not going to topple the crane. You're not going to do like, if I do this, some catastrophic.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yo, soup. Because also the thing is, if the soup's pressing you to do that, and like that thing, a little fire kicks up, and all you go, soup, I think it's a bad idea. And the fire kicks up, and you look at soup. Why? See? So I felt it always protects you in a certain degree, and I feel it always protects the crews.
That's another thing where I like working for 17. We've known these superintendents for years. We've worked with them for years. So when they come up, I can literally like the superintendents now for 17. I can tell them no without a problem. Like they can come up to me and go,
because you guys have developed a trust and rapport with each other.
So now when they come up to me and they go, hey, I want to do this, it's kind of like, hey, I don't want to do that, but he's the superintendent. Now I just straight up go, no, we're not doing that. That's not going to, we're not doing it. Absolutely not, you know? And they go, okay, you know what you're doing, you know, and they leave me alone. But, you know.
I think that's the microcosm, like what I was just kind of talking about. Like you give them that lead to kind of make some choices that you know are going to, and then they start to learn, okay, my man really does know what he's talking about. He understands this in a level that I'm not familiarized with. And then that trust grows, and then it's, whatever you want to do, fucking crush it. But until then, it's usually it's a dick measuring contest. It's a pissing match.
Now, what do you think about the whole concept? Because this is crazy to me, and I think it's crazy. I think it's wild, and I don't really think that it helps our local or it helps what we got going on. But the e-board and the people that be on the when you go to Vegas, the Kool-Aid people and all these people think that this is the best way moving forward with like younger guys and apprentices, because
when you say that the best way moving forward with young guys and apprentices
is to coddle them.
The shit where you can't yell at
that's what we're doing. No, that's what we're doing now. That's what it is. I literally just went to a steward's meeting and I'm like, can we fire these kids? Can we fucking do anything to them? And they're like, talk to them. See if you can work it out. We're in the business of keeping guys working, not getting guys unemployed. And then they're like, you got to give them like 3 or 4 chances. And I'm just like, I don't like that at all. Some of these apprentices, man, they come out there and they're already privileged or whatever they think they are. And it's like, they're mouthy and they're just everything bad. And you just want to, and it's just like, now we got to coddle these kids. They're like, they're grown men. Yeah. They want us to coddle, Steve.
How does it feel to want?
Yeah, but now it's like to the point now where they're saying like now Destiny told me to my face, you can't fire anyone now. Like the superintendent has to fire him, which means that if I got an apprentice or I got I ain't even just going to say apprentice. We got some journeymen out here that can be fucking kind of on your nerves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if I got a kid or I got somebody on a job site that's like causing problems and not being as productive as they could be and fucking with me and doing shit, I gotta be the asshole to go to the superintendent and try to convince the superintendent to fire this guy.
No good.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that dude. But in-house, I want to be able to say, hey man, I'm gonna have to let you go. I can't deal with this shit no more. You know what I mean? But they don't want us to do that. So it's like now, essentially now, it's kind of like, I think it's a problem. Because now if we got a gang and we're trying to get work done and we got that one guy that's fucking us over and everybody's fucked over, where's the morale? Where's the camaraderie? Now,
the weakest link, all those things.
Now I got my gang like fighting with each other all the time. And it's like, why can't I just say, hey, this guy's a problem. and he's got to go.
So, number one, to me, this is a generational issue. I'm pretty sure we're really close to the same age. You may be a couple years older than me. I'm not sure. Are you 50 yet?
No.
Are you Gen X?
I don't know what Gen X is. I don't follow that shit. I don't know. I guess I'm 47. Like, that's my age.
Oh, well, in that case, you're Gen X. Gen X runs up to 1980.
Okay, cool.
So the thing generationally speaking, the thing that makes us different than almost all generations, we are a cross between, like, when we were little, it was all analog. Fucking phones corded to the wall, nothing wireless, 6 fucking TV stations. And then we saw the birth of the internet. We saw fucking like that. So we're old school and new school at the same time. So now the thing I kept hearing is, like, when our age started to become parents, I don't want little Johnny, I don't want little Susie to experience anything I ever had. Oh, come here, little Johnny, I'll do that for you. Come here, little Susie, don't cry. I'll get that for you. Nobody allowed their children to suffer just a little bit, to learn what it is to not get what you want, to learn what it is to go without for a little bit. There's been a whole bunch of coddling and fucking bubble wrapping the fucking world for these kids. And then these kids become adults and they don't know how to move in the real world because they're still used to their mommy and daddy was, when the going gets tough, someone else is going to fucking do it for me. And now we're dealing with these fucking, what we view as adults. You come out here, I ain't going to be your fucking dad. If I got to be your dad, get your dad on the phone, because I'm going to tell him, I'm going to beat the fucking brakes off him because he did you a fucking injustice. So it's, when we talk about you can't whatever with these kids, they're not fucking kids. I'm sorry to yell.
No, I yell all the time.
No. Fuck that. You want to come out here, because I just had a job, had a first-year apprentice, little weird, good enough kid, but he had some weird tendencies. Got on some subjects and topics that were just like, yo, this ain't the place, this ain't the thing. But he has this little kid. I can act however I want, wherever I want, and there's going to be no consequence. So it's like, that's where crews were having trouble with this. And it's like that same thing. You come up, people talking bad about him. So I kind of gave him the adult version of things. Yo, bro, you think it was more or less to give you a little insight. He did this song that's basically about pedophilia. Now it's an anti-pedophilia thing. It's picking on the one thing. But if you do this song about pedophilia, I don't give a fuck. Not saying I don't give a fuck about pedophilia, but I understand what the premise is. I understand all about it, and it's fucking disgusting. And that isn't what I want put into my everyday psyche as I'm just sitting here chilling. Mm-hmm. So when you force that and you start playing this shit, when I tell you, don't. And if you press, then I'm going to act a certain way, because now you're forcing shit on me that makes me uncomfortable. So here's where it comes Adultville. You got two choices. You can either stop forcing shit on me that's putting me in a spot where I'm not enjoying and finding comfortability in, or I can press back. And it's like, it was a realization with that kid. Listen, man, you don't come here. It's not all fun and games. You got to be respectful to the people you work around. You got to at least get a feel for some people before you go hog wild on certain things. And if somebody presses back, don't be surprised. And it's like, right as soon as I had that whole kind of conversation with him, I stole a little bit of joy in life out of him, because it took away some of that childish fun and games, that there's a more adult seriousness here. But yo, He was solid as fuck from that day fucking forward because he needed someone to handle him like, yo, you're not my son. You're another,
Yeah.
these are two grown men talking to each other right now. Now you can act like a grown man or we can have a problem.
How do you yeah, I had a weirdo apprentice and he's not weird. He just don't. Okay, so for me, I'm very active, I'm very emotional, I'm very talkative. I'm like,
Yeah.
I talk. I talk, I
Yeah.
play around, we have fun. And I had this one kid, dude, I'm working with him, and he don't say nothing. Like all day. You just tell him to do something. All right. He goes and does it. Excellent. He comes, shows up, does everything. Dude, I almost wanted to fire him for not talking. It was like I couldn't take it, bro, because it's like the morale is kind of like I'm big on morale, dude. And it's like you're not. I'm like, are you depressed? Like, are you sad? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he's like, no, I just don't talk a lot. And I'm like, dude, I can't. It was fucking me up. I couldn't work with this kid for a while because I'm just like, he's a good worker. I don't want to get rid of him, and I don't want to force nothing on him that he don't like. Like you said, I didn't want to force conversations on him or nothing. But somebody out there working with you doing this power job and shit, not talking, like it's kind of like I don't know who's bothering the fuck out of me.
I mean, some guys they have social anxiety kind of things. Like just sometimes, like if I don't know you like that, some guys just don't feel comfortable or they kind of out now. I agree. That's the thing. Like you don't force but yeah, that's one of those. Hopefully, you interact to be nice to a guy like that. Suddenly, they start to feel comfortable, and then they kind of open up and they blossom a little bit.
It's so hard.
Oh, it can be, yeah. But that's why it's not just workout here. It's psychology, man. It's all different types, all different personalities, all different upbringings, and then trying to figure out how to kind of jive and fucking come together on it.
And what's another problem is that people don't people think of this shit as like this big old macho man shit. Like I guess because they got the mindset of construction from back in the day, in the movies and the cartoons where the guys were all macho men, all strong dudes, and they used to catcall the women and all this shit.
Alpha bullshit, but yeah.
Yeah, but people have that because I've had situations where I had to tell certain guys to like lay off of other guys. Because we bust balls, we talk shit and stuff. But when you start to really hurt in a person's feelings, it's like, yo, that dude he's hurt. Like he's mad, like for real, in general, like his feelings are really hurt. And it's like, oh no, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen and all that kind of shit. And I'm like, no, bro, like this ain't the kitchen. Like, like everybody out here ain't tough guys. There are some guys that are out here that just like earning a living, bro. They're not that.
Yeah, they're not there for any of that extracurricular nonsense.
Or like with the girls.
It's all the same thing. It's guys also need to learn that, all right, so when we were growing up as kids, sometimes picking on a motherfucker, that was part of just the way shit was coming up, and it was that, sometimes you'd pick on your buddies the fucking worst, and it was like, try to thicken up your skin. That's a generational thing that I think we're wrong on. One of those things like, yo, it's one thing to mess with somebody and play and, you're poking fun and you're making jokes. And there's different when you're just trying to break somebody. You're trying to break their spirit. You're trying to you literally just want to see them break. And the motherfuckers that do that, because they're weak on the inside and they're trying to make themselves feel better by beating down on somebody. And it's like, yeah, when you see that, those are the motherfuckers, because that's nothing but a bully. Somebody want to be a bully? Bully that motherfucker. Yo, you like it, bitch? Nah. So quit it.
Yeah. And then I had a girl on the job one time. You work with females, and this one kid, I had to tell him, like, he was talking crazy in front of her. And I had to say, hey, wait a minute, man, that's still a woman. And certain things as men you don't say in front of women. And he's like, she's out here, if she wants to be out here, she's got to know that this is how men talk and all this and all that. And I'm like, but you don't have to. Like, you really do not. The shit you're saying, you don't have to say, bro. Like,
well, that to me is, all right, well, this is a man talking to you as another man, that you be respectful to fucking women. And if you want to keep speaking like that, then So don't.
And
It's like
and they say I'm aggressive, but I don't care. I tell people all the time. I tell them on the jobs all
you
the
got to
time.
be aggressive sometimes.
I
You
tell
got to
them
be.
no, but this is what I tell them. I said, look, man, you can be mad about this conversation all you want, but you're gonna be real mad if we having this conversation at your car at 3:30. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we having this conversation at your car at 3:30, it's gonna go different. You're gonna be real mad.
Compartmentalize it for what it is, and just
So
like just try for a minute and just listen.
because we can handle this right now and let it go.
Be
Because at
gentlemen, do
3:30,
the right thing.
because at 3:30, once I'm going to my car, if this goes on outside of these gates,
Mhm.
outside of this job, outside of what we got going on here, I don't know how it's going to turn out for you because
Yeah,
I said what I had to say.
well, the thing is like with that, it's like to that, if the guy's acting, talking just in ways that like, no, this is disrespectful, this isn't right, because you're looking out for your fucking union brother and sister. So it's not even like for me, that's the reason I never even feel that bad about it if you got to lean on somebody in those moments. Because don't do it for yourself. Do it because you're trying to protect the people around you. You're trying to look out for the people around you.
And I
So
tell them,
I
like,
don't know.
listen, man, you got me in a position where I'm not going to have your back. If that girl goes and says something to somebody
Mhm,
higher up about what the way you're talking, you made her feel some way, I'm
mhm.
not back. I'm not. You're not
No,
going to put
you
me in it.
can't.
I got a wife. I got daughters. I got people looking at me. I'm not about to
You
be
got the
like,
local.
I'm
You
not
got the
going to take,
local as a whole.
yeah, I'm
Like,
not taking up for you with that shit. You got,
yeah.
because my
Well, that
first thing my daughter going to say is, Dad, you didn't say nothing to him? You let him say that to her? You let him talk
yeah.
like that? No, I did not.
Well, that circles back to the thing. Like everyone wants to be like, oh, freedom of speech, First Amendment. No, we can. Everybody can say whatever. You can have whatever words, whatever sense come out of your mouth you want. But there's consequences to the things that you say to certain people. Like, and we all know when we're out of pocket, when we say some foul shit that just you just went to a level where it's like
Because
that's more than just words. Like you're inviting me to
but
react.
and that's what I tell people when they talk about freedom of speech. I say, yeah, I can get on my podcast and I can say
Mhm.
whatever I want on my podcast. That's fine.
Mhm.
But I gotta deal with the fact that the people that listen might not like it. And if they don't like it, they have a right to
Mhm.
say what they want to say about it. They have a right to say they don't
Mhm.
like it. Plus, I tell them, freedom of speech means that there's no consequences for what you say by the government. There's still
Yes, the
consequences for
government.
what you, yeah, but there's still consequences for what you, I can't go out here and say whatever the fuck I want to say to my wife. I can think it, but if I
Yeah.
say,
Look,
if I say it to her, I don't have that freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm
like
saying? Like,
you just say you said something about whatever, and it was some grimy. It's out of like you went out of bounds purposely because I want to get a reaction out of you. Well, the reaction you get may not always be the reaction you want. Is number one. And number two is that's that, okay, you said whatever. Someone comes up and they fucking cold cock your fucking ass. That isn't a freedom of speech fucking violation. That's a different crime. But it's like speech has consequence. And it's if you're saying things to get effect, some like I don't know. I kind of lost where we started off with that.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just a lot. And I didn't want to be, and like I said, I didn't, when I jumped into the foreman thing, I thought, hey, I thought, I know the work and I know the guys. I'm
Mhm.
going to be cool. And then you find out you don't know the guys. Like you think you know them, and then it's and then they go, it's not worth the money. And sometimes, man, it's like it ain't.
Sometimes it ain't.
Sometimes, man, you're like, I don't take it home, but I do take it with me in the morning. Like when I'm
Well, it's
pulling up and I sit down and I have my coffee and I get out and I see certain guys pull up and I go, oh, this motherfucker today. Please not
it's gonna
today.
be a day. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you know
be a
what I mean? Please
yeah.
not today. And sometimes I have to have that. Sometimes I go like there's like I'll say Doc because Doc is the guy he don't give a fuck what I say. He's cool with me.
Yeah.
There's literally been mornings where I would have to go in and look at people and then pull Doc to the side and say, Doc, listen to me. I'm looking at that motherfucker today, and he He's not with it today. So
Leave
what
him
I need you
alone.
to do is
Just
to
leave him
not say nothing to him. Leave him alone all day, please. Because and then I go tell Doc, if that motherfucker, if you say something to that motherfucker today, anything that happens, I'm blaming you. Okay, leave him alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, man, I could just see people in the morning, and I know I don't want my day ruined by no dumb shit.
Yeah.
You
Like I
know?
said, the work's hard enough. It's better when we're all smiling, joking around, having a good time, and then just trying to survive the day, as opposed to, so and so's poking the bear again. Got him all worked up.
Oh, he got this one kid. He got this, and I had to tell it. And listen, this is a true story. So he got this one kid so worked up. And this kid gets in the man basket with me, right? And he's a big kid too. He's like way bigger than Doc. He's shaking the man basket. So I'm going up with him and I go, "Hey man, what are you doing? Stop shaking the basket. What are you scared of heights? If you're scared of heights, don't get in the man basket with me. We're going up." And he's basically like, "No, I'm just waiting. I can't wait till the end of the day." And I said, "Why?" He said, I'm gonna punch Doc right in the mouth." And I said, "You're gonna punch Doc in the mouth? Like Doc? Like little Doc down there? You're a big guy, you're gonna punch Doc in the mouth?" I said, "Listen," I said, "you don't want to do that, man. It's not gonna work out for you. I can talk to Doc, I can try to calm him down, but you punching Doc in the mouth is not gonna work out for you. First of all, it's Doc. Second of all, whatever he's doing to you, he's doing on purpose. Third of all, Doc is like the little fucking brother of the local. Everybody's gonna be mad at you. Like you're not gonna get away with that. You're gonna get teased about it, laughed about it. It's gonna get way worse if you hit him than it is if you just like try to let it go." And then he goes, "No, man, I'm determined to hit him." So I said, "Well, listen, now that I've given you the good part of the speech, here's the bad part. If you walk anywhere near Doc after work today, me and Doc are going to jump you and beat the shit out of you." And he goes, "You're going to help him?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to help him. Doc's been my friend for 15 years. You're a big ass guy. You think I'm going to just let you go out there and beat him up?" And especially after I done gave you the calm talk about not doing it. Like, no, bro, that's not going to happen here. Like, we're going to beat your ass. And then it's going to be worse because now you got beat up by Doc. And I'm going to lie and say I didn't help him.
I didn't do nothing.
I'm going to tell the local Doc beat your little ass Doc. Yeah. I said, I'm going to tell everybody in the local that little ass Doc beat your big ass by himself. You know what I mean? Like, but I just have to, like, you can never get that mad, bro. Like, it's like, and if you do get that mad that you want to fight a guy, you guys need to, y'all got to work that out. Sometimes I guess you can't, sometimes I guess you can't.
Let me give you a story of during my apprenticeship. There was a superintendent I legitimately wanted to stab in the neck, and it took a lot. Like there was a little side story. I was driving this same superintendent to a government thing to drop off some paperwork in my personal car. Now, at this point, I'd already worked with the guy for like a year, and like, I really want to do this dude in. Like, but I was an apprentice, and you got to eat that. You got to fucking, no matter if you're an apprentice, if any apprentice hears this fucking podcast, guys are going to say foul shit to you. Don't let them win. The moment you fucking react, they won. Your goal is fuck when anybody's saying shit and make it through your apprenticeship. Learn. Do good. Show yourself a good hand. Don't let people affect you like that.
Well, no, I'll tell you a story. I don't know. You probably heard the story before, but everybody in the local knows the story. So when I was an apprentice, man, I worked a few jobs with Pat Reddick. And Pat Reddick poked me. He can be a pill. Yo, he poked me to guys and to, I don't know what. And everybody just kept saying, "Tyrone, you're an apprentice. You're an apprentice. You're an apprentice." And I was just like, I can't deal with this dude. I can't work with him. I can't see him. I can't take it. I want to do something to him. So when I graduated the apprenticeship, I went to the union meeting. And back then they said it was a $500 fine for, fighting or whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I gave Dennis a check for $1,000 at the union meeting right there.
I'm paying mine and his.
That's what I said to him. I said, I'm paying both of ours because I'm going to get Pat Reddick tonight. and I'm not an apprentice no more. Yo, but dude, they were like, yeah. But the thing was, when I actually approached Pat and I actually told him what happened, he apologized and he said, "I didn't know I got to you that bad, bro. I thought, I didn't know I was hurting you that bad, right?" And then he goes, "But for you to fucking hold it in for 3 years, to still want to get me after 3 years is kind of wild." And I was just like,
I mean,
I was kind of
you
just
wanted
like,
to give them the business once.
but when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's insane. That's insane that I let this man get to me, that I held a 3-year grudge on this man because the shit that he was saying to me. So then I had to think like, yo, I can't get there again. I gotta kind of like try to chill out, try to like. But dude, the whole time, dude, I wasn't even waiting to get out my apprenticeship because I wanted to graduate and be happy. I was just like, as soon as I graduate, I'm going to beat this man.
Journeyman. Come on.
Yeah. Like I wanted to be a journeyman just so I could beat this guy up.
Yeah. I need to get the clearance to fucking get a little get right.
Yeah, but okay. So I didn't want to get on work stuff, but we got on work stuff. But anyway, so before you go, because usually my podcast don't go it only goes for an hour, but we already took an hour and a half. But before you go, are you a Marvel guy? Like, are you a superhero film guy or no?
All right, so I am a closet geek nerd, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I enjoy all the all those style of movies. I wouldn't say I don't know shit about the comic universe storylines and all. Like I take the movies for the movies, even the ones that when people gripe about staying true to the storyline. I don't really know the storyline, but I usually enjoy the movies. So yes.
So my question for the end this is, who's in more trouble? Marvel or DC? Because Marvel's riding a lot on this Dr. Doomsday thing and all this, but but DC's got one shot at this Superman film, or it's going to shit. That's how I feel. Marvel has put out a bunch of clunkers and survived,
Yeah.
But DC is like, if Superman fails, they're done, dude. Like they're done. I think
that right there, I think, is the nuts and bolts to your question. DC's in a worse spot. Marvel has a better stock of shit they can pull off of and come out storylines, different characters. Where like DC in the movie wise, they really ain't got much anything, really, right?
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Yeah, so it's like when you have less at bats, you better hit, otherwise you're fucked. If you got a shitload more at bats, you can have more strikeouts, and I think that's what kind of happened with Marvel to me. Trying to tick boxes, just like placate and where it's. I don't know. Then again, I really don't know.
For me now, I'm kind of going a little crazy because Wolverine, Deadpool versus Wolverine, right? By no means was a good movie. It wasn't. The plot wasn't that great. It wasn't a good film. But the fan service and the fun blew me out the water. Like that movie was so much fun to watch. It was so enjoyable. There was so much fan service. And I'm just like, why don't Marvel just do that all the time? Just say, fuck the storylines, fuck the plot. Just have fun with the movies and let us just go and give us all the fan service and give us all the fun. But Marvel's got to kind of try to be smart. And I'm like, sometimes trying to be smart fucks everything up. Like, if I want to see an Oscar film, I'll go to an Oscar film. If I'm going to a comic book movie, I'm going for fun and fan service. That's what I want.
CGI, big,
just
extravagant shit.
Yeah. You can literally make a movie you can literally make X-Men versus Avengers, right? And not have a plot at all. Just make an hour.
Showing up spots and battle scenes.
Yeah, just make an hour and a half. If you made a movie with just an hour and a half fight between those two groups, I'd watch it.
Oh my god, that would probably be fantastic. It'd probably be one of their better, like, yeah, that was fucking amazing.
You're right. So I don't know, but so what do you think is going to be better? Is Fantastic Four going to hit, or is Superman going to hit?
From what you were talking about, if they had Dr. Doom be a little bit more like, To me, the Fantastic Four, them, the same thing. I'm agreement. I don't really like the Fantastic Four, the characters. So that's a franchise that to me relies on the villain. So if
Right.
you kind of come in with a killer villain, then you're going to have a killer movie. But I think the Superman movie is probably going to do better than the Fantastic Four just because, man, Fantastic Four.
I don't like it. I just don't. I don't know. That dude doesn't
But,
look like Superman.
well, time out. I haven't seen a preview for either one. So
What do
I
you
don't know.
mean? Wait. Wait.
I don't
Is
watch
that
TV. Man.
is that area that you're in right now? Is that your dungeon? Blink twice if you're in danger. Because I'm like, what?
No, no, no.
Wait. How do you get? Okay, so for me, right? Television is my life. Like, I deal with my children, and I love my kids. They're teenagers, and I got 2 young ones here. I deal with my wife. I love my wife and everything, but television and movies is like my safe haven. It's like when they say go to your happy place. My happy place is in front of a TV. So I don't. What do you do?
My problem with entertainment. So a lot of movies to me feel like they're rehashes. There's a lack of original thought, and it's like a lot of movies like watching the same shit over and over again. So in that aspect, I kind of get. So I have found myself getting more into like learning shit about different weird things, like watching videos about the universe. The fact that time, space, and light are all kind of the same thing. And like so it's like that's where my entertainment is, just learning more about the universe, learning more about the world, learning more about myself.
I was about to say I want to work with you again, but now I don't, because you ain't gonna be coming up here talking to me about the flight of a bird and all that.
No. It's I still try to, just like a crew, you gotta feel motherfuckers out what to talk about. Yeah, but like religion, I keep finding myself looking into different religious kind of related things, and it's not just I want to find out how different religions, how they're the same, how they differ. Fucking with say Catholicism, the agnostic or the Gnostic Gospels, which are a whole bunch of gospels that got put out for time. I mean, so it's like those kind of just deeper looking into things.
I don't want to hate on religion or nothing, right? But I was reading like the Bahajita and looking into like the what are they called? The Hinduisms and stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
And when they were talking about how like you keep reincarnating until you reach like the ultimate.
When you finally reach enlightenment, then you will finally evolve into that next level.
And I thought that was so interesting, but then there was the simple fact of the matter is that they were like, your spirit can be reincarnated in anything. And see, this is where I'm a fucked up individual. I ain't gonna lie. My mind goes to crazy shit. I'm like, I don't want to be a human being and die and come back as a roach. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think that's where the theory is. You try to lead your best life, and the theory is if you leave a more enlightened life, then you'll elevate in your next reincarnation. Where if you're a real shitty individual, you move down the fucking ladder.
That's what I'm saying. But could you imagine, passing away and waking up the next morning as a roach with your same conscience, but your human conscience?
Fucked up.
Yeah. It's like, oh no.
Lesson you learned, be the best person you could ever be, and you come back. Like, all right, I'm a human again.
So how you gonna be a good roach? You gonna say I'm not gonna go inside of anyone's house.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna crawl on someone's kitchen counter.
Not gonna pass no disease.
I'm just gonna eat whatever I can find. I'm not gonna like go in anybody's house and try to steal anything, But then again, see, I'd be the roach that goes, I'm going right in somebody's house and I'm going to crawl right onto their kitchen counter and I'm going to let them hit me with a shoe and die so I can reincarnate and come back and see what else I get.
This life sucks. Next life.
I'm not playing this crap. Anything is better. Anything I come back as is better than a fucking roach.
Yeah, it's going to be stepping up on the road. But it's also like, just because they say that in Hinduism, it's a great theory. It's a great trying to make sense of life and that question, because that fear of death. Yo, don't fear it, because we all face it. It doesn't matter. Don't fear the inevitable. enjoy the time that you have, live the best life you
Well, I don't fear death. What I fear
can.
is how you feel when you're dying. I just always think about like how do you feel when you're dying? But then I was reading up, like I guess I'm trying to learn like you. I was reading up on it,
Mhm.
and they said that if your body actually knows it's going to die, that there's some kind of endorphins in your brain that releases that gives you a little bit of a euphoria type feeling. So I was like,
I can
oh,
see
okay.
that.
So I was like,
I can
oh, if
see that.
that happens, then I'm cool with that. Like you get a little euphoria before you.
Mhm.
But they said that
The
sometimes your brain will give you like endorphins that'll give you like a euphoria type feeling right
yeah,
before you
just a
go. So
freak
it's like,
right out into the
yeah,
fucking universe you go.
I'll
My
take
my
that.
own my only worry that I still worry about not doing the things and like say my wife. Like those things, those tasks that you don't get done in time.
Yeah.
But with that, whenever you die, there's always going to be tasks that aren't undone. So
Yeah.
why
Uh-uh.
worry about do the
No,
best you
it's not,
can?
Bert. No, it's not, Bert. No, it's not. Because no, it's not because I got my shit set up, and you got to get your shit set up. Well, you don't have kids, so
Oh,
you're in a good
well,
position.
no, I'm talking about in a more
No,
not
okay.
so ironed in. Like there's always going to be things that you can't see, can't predict. That at the moment of is going to be a dread thing. Oh, I
Well,
wish
I
I
don't
would have
know.
got.
I don't know because how I got my shit set up, right? So my shit is set
Mhm.
up for this. I done told the wife, I done told the kids, I done told everybody that'll listen. When I'm done working, when I retire, shit else is not happening. I'm not one of those dudes that goes, I got all these retirement plans, I'm traveling, I'm doing
I'm
all this
so
shit.
bored.
No, I'm fucking done. I'm
No,
turning
I'm
on
going to do
that.
exactly what I want to do every
I'm
minute, every day.
I'm turning on that TV and I'm sitting on that couch
Yeah,
and I'm probably going to live there forever. If I could put a toilet in my
right.
couch, I would. Like fuck that. You know what I mean? Just sit on it, just toilet,
Yeah.
everything right there. Because I'm not doing nothing. I'm not going to have no future plans, nothing. I'm going to be Dunny Roski. So there's not going to be kids. Like, hey, yeah, okay. I want to see
Living
the
your best life.
grandkid. I want to see the grandkid, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
mind if you don't bring that motherfucker over. All right,
Yeah,
you
yeah. Let's go
know.
for a nice little fucking Avengers
Hey,
marathon.
I'm cool. I'm good with FaceTime. And by then they might have some kind of shit like fill time. By
Yep.
then they might have like fill time where you can actually touch the person. You can hold the baby from
Little
their house.
hologram.
Yeah. I'll hold you want to hold the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, from your house.
Um,
Yeah. Right through the phone.
yeah,
Here you go. Pop, I can't wait
yeah,
to
but
see you. You know?
yeah, but for real, moving in the forward, like yeah, if you want to come over to the crib and we'll get a little fucking thing set up at the bar,
Yeah.
I'm with that.
I'm
But
with that.
let's also get a little topics thing started off. Maybe
Well,
you
yeah,
can even maybe you can even set up for all your followers if they want to get some like questions started up. Give us
yeah, but
some
you see what
topics to kind of work on.
but I also knew this was going to work. You see what happened today? We just kind of got it linked up and we just kind
Shoot
of
the shit.
we went with it and look, we had a good show. I mean,
But
I
nobody
enjoyed
wants
that a
to
lot.
hear about work.
Yeah, they do. People like
Except
this
maybe
kind of
some other
shit.
dockies. Normal people don't want to hear about what we do at work.
Please, bro. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know some people that probably are enjoyed
Fair
this.
enough.
The two
Yeah,
the
fair.
two people that showed up and went in and out had a good
Wait, who that?
time.
Who that? I didn't see nothing.
Hey,
I don't even know.
I don't give a fuck, man. Like people be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you
fuck
don't
him.
be getting," you know, because people go, "Oh, you're not getting a lot of views," and I go, "I'm having fun, dude.
Yeah.
I do this podcast because I have fun. I get to talk my shit, and it's so amazing that I go on job sites and people go, "Hey, you're the podcast guy," and I'm like, it makes you feel good inside. Like some people know me.
And the thing is also too, it's like, yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. You do this because you enjoy doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep doing it. And then just if one day it takes off, awesome. But
Yeah,
yeah, you're doing it because you enjoy doing it.
I
More than
have fun,
anything, right?
and I enjoy
I mean,
talking.
and it'll be
Well,
great if it takes off.
I know, but I talk a lot, and
Yeah.
I said, I be talking a lot, so I'm like, why not just fucking do it like this? I get all my
Mhm.
talking out because when I go out there with the wife and kids, I don't get too much. I don't get to say much, so I got to get
What
it out in here.
wise you normally don't want to hear too much of our mess anyway. Yeah,
Not at all.
whatever. Shut
Yeah,
up with that, don't you?
I went to Triple B's. He's one of the Gorman's nephews. I don't know if you know him, but
Yeah, I know.
I went to his wedding over this past weekend, and me and Russick and a couple of guys from work that
he invited you and he didn't invite me. All right.
I don't know. I ain't getting into that.
That's
y'all
business.
I'm
gonna have to get with him next I see him.
That's y'all business. I might have been the token. I might have been a token invite. No, it wasn't that. But we sitting at the table, and Russick starts talking about some work shit, and his wife gives him that look, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like we don't. I know we want to do it, but we can't. We can't. All right, this been good. You got any last thing you want to say to the two people that were in here? I'm pretty sure I give you the truth. Probably like 8 or 9 people are going to watch this though. So
yeah, whatever. I mean, if nobody watches that, I'm here to have a talk with you. I could give. I mean, I love y'all, but I don't watch podcasts. I don't do podcasts. So it's like I do podcasts now because of Tyrone. But outside of that, it's like I'm here for you, brother. Anyone else that can gain anything from our talk, awesome.
Do y'all see that? Because I've been inviting a lot of people and people ain't been showing up. Now I'm threatening now. I'm threatening.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Matter of fact, yeah, I do got a part in fucking comment. To everyone, if you say you're going to fucking do something, if you say you're going to be about something, do it. Be about it. Don't just say shit to make fucking, because that's what you think somebody wants to fucking hear. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people that you communicate with. And love each other. Outside of that.
All right. With that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I don't have no sponsors, so nobody. And another thing too, I ask people to like that own businesses, like family and friends that own businesses or like got some side stuff going on. I'm like, give me your cards, let me know stuff. I'll shout you out. Yeah, and nobody wants to partake in this. They're just like, okay, and then I don't get nothing. It's just like I'm trying to help me help you, but whatever. Yeah. I shout out 1,800 every week, and everybody goes, "Why are you giving them free advertisement?" I go, "Because somebody who works for them
to get that sponsorship, son."
Yeah, somebody who works for them might see it, and somebody who works for them might see it and be like, "Yo, this guy's not big time, but he loves us." You know what I mean? You know, who knows? I'm gonna take that shot.
But yeah, right on. Fuck it.
All right, man. I'm pretty sure we'll probably get on a job site one day together.
It's a small local. I mean, we've crossed paths enough times. Then again, it has been a fucking while. And it's then been a while, but kind of again the usual suspects. There is something when you said about that earlier. There's some truth in that.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
You got time left, though. I got time left.
Yeah, a little bit.
We got time. Well, how much you got left? About what? 7 years, maybe?
Like 7 or 8 years. Yep. Oh, yeah, we got in me, Doc, and everyone 2002.
Okay.
Doc,
I told Doc, I said, Doc, I'm staying in long enough for your son to be my apprentice. And the first day, as soon as I fire him, I'm going to retire.
I've done all I came to do.
I'm staying in just to fire Doc's son for real. And I'm gonna tell him to his face too. I'm gonna tell him to his face too. This is because of your father. Yeah. You go home tonight. Thank Daddy. Thank Daddy for this. You know.
All right, my man.
All right, man.
Yo, everyone in the Lister podcast fucking club, keep tuning in. He's gonna give you fucking good quality shit.
Yeah, I really appreciate you showing up, man. Thanks a lot. We had some hiccups, but we got it working. Now I got to see what's wrong with my fucking computer.
I'm tech horrible, and I'm happy to know it turned out it wasn't me fully.
Hey, yo, you're right. Sorry about that.
Brother.
All right, see you later.
I'll be seeing you.
Yep.
You go, man.
Later.